Time in this game they connected. Let's go to the second quarter. Oh, Randy fakes the in route. I'm not going over the middle. I'm going to the pylon.
Definition of a #1 receiver: take a 5-yard slant, turn it into a touchdown.
And then one more time with that one, DeMoss. Brady sets the Patriots franchise record for career touchdown passes. Did I mention he's got a few more years to play? One more to Randy Moss. No way to defend that.
No, that one there, that was all Moss right there. But the other ones, the defense, I have no idea what defense they're playing, and neither do the Buffalo Bills, because they are no defenses.
Coach says he puts us out there to score every time we touch it, so that's what we're trying to do, and I think that's the job description for every offense in the NFL. You score, he's not putting you out there to punt. I know that. And or to go 3 and out. He puts you out there to go out there and run your best plays and try to execute as well as you can.
Coach Belichick is to blame, man. Y'all don't ask me, don't ask Tommy. You ask Coach Belichick. I mean, like I said, man, he put us through a hell of a week, man.
All right, let's just see what's sort of on the table here. They need 146 points in their last 6 games to break the record for most points in a season. That's 24 points a game. They've been averaging that at the half lately. New England on pace to obliterate the scoring differential mark held by the 1942 Bears. They need to outscore their opponents by a total of 39 in their last 6. I think they outscored the opponent Sunday night by 46. Brady on pace for 60 touchdown passes. Peyton Manning has the single-season record of 49. And Randy Moss has Jerry Rice in his sights. He needs just 7 touchdowns down the stretch to break that all-time record held by Jerry Rice. You heard them going for it on 4th down. Well, once again, that's what happened. Tom Brady, well, he hit that one right on the 8-1. Didn't even think about bringing in the field goal unit. Wasn't even a thought. You know why? Because they can do this to Ben Watson for a 3-yard touchdown. The final score in this game, again, 56-10. So here's what stands between the Patriots and running the freaking table. New England plays just 2 games against teams currently with winning records, and the Patriots play 4 of their next 5 games at home, starting Sunday night against the Eagles that may not have Donovan McNabb. Where do you go? I mean, what do you say? Mike, I tried to say this earlier. It's like the PGA Tour when Tiger Woods is right. There's him, and there's everybody else. And unfortunately for the NFL, unlike Tiger, the Patriots don't play a limited schedule. They play everybody.
I think it's a bigger separation with these guys than anybody else. I don't see the public doesn't understand how hard this is what they're doing, gang. It's almost like they're using mirrors. This is amazing what they're doing. Just a chop. These are NFL quality caliber teams. These defensive, they're making them look terrible. I mean, it's embarrassing. They're going up and down the field.
The Bills had a 4-game winning streak coming into this game. They don't have one now.
Play the Patriots. You know, and listen, you can have all the talent in the world, but you do have to have that one guy who leads. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a little history. In World War II, there was a guy named George S. Patton, who was one of the great generals in the history of war. But he had one standing order. He said, never radio me back telling me you are holding your position. You make the other guy hold his position. When I look at Bill Belichick, he is telling his troops, listen, we'll make the other guy defend us. We are going to attack, and we're going to attack, and we are going to attack, and we are not going to stop.
Here's the amazing thing to me, because human nature says this: when things are going well, you end up patting yourself on the back, and eventually what happens to you, you get snuck up on. And this football team does not allow that to happen. And all I can say is the little things creep into good football teams, and the next thing you know, you ignore a holding call, an offsides penalty, maybe a wrong route, and things don't go well for you. This team doesn't allow that to happen. They correct their mistakes, and they go out and they execute every week. They're not human.
All right, you went on an 11-0 team and a 13-0 team. You were on a 12-0 team, or coached a 12-0 team that won 15-1. You guys couldn't pull it off in '85. You guys couldn't pull it off either one of the years you did that. Are they going to run the table?
I think they run the table, get 19-0. I see no. The NFL is the ultimate matchup game. You know, that's about trying to create your matchups. Nobody matches up to this team. Nobody. Even the Colts, when they're ultimately healthy, they're the only team that has a shot.
You know what? I've said it time and time again. Nobody will go 16-0. And I was really confident like this, and it just
that was just a half hour ago.
Every week.
That was a half hour ago.
I'm going to say the law of averages. Somebody sneaks up on them, but I don't know that it's going to happen.
Barring an injury to one of the key players, and the key player probably be Brady.
Yep.
I don't think anybody can stop him. I really don't. And it's just all the things you said. You know, there's a word called focus. You say, you know, coaches say we got to focus this game. We got to stay focused on the goals. These guys are focused on the goal, and their goals right now are to destroy the NFL.
But see, I think the mistake you made is putting the law of average. There ain't nothing average about this team. They are so far above average, it's not even funny. All right, you know, you watch these games long enough, you'll see a little bit of everything. Sunday, trust me, that happened in Baltimore when the Browns came to town. Kyle Bowler filling in for the injured Steve McNair. The really bad thing here for the Ravens is they actually had an offense in this game. Not here, because it was picked up by Brodney Poole, and nobody's getting him. It seems like if you don't have a 100-yard return in a game once a week, it's not even worth showing anymore. Unbelievable. The Browns go up 27-14. So fourth quarter now, the Ravens down 27-20. Here comes Kyle Bowler. A beautiful pass to DeVar Darling, a 42-yard hookup down to the Cleveland 41. Later on that same drive, these two would hook up again. Bowler has time to throw, and Darling has time to catch, and just like that, they got 27 points. We're tied at 27. So after the Browns were forced to punt, Ravens ball at their own 47. Bowler this time looks somewhere else, and Derek Mason is there. Nice throw. He's out of bounds. So they set up for a 47-yard field goal for the lead with Stover. No problem. It's good with 31 ticks left. The Ravens take their first lead of the game. Finally, things are going their way. Brian Billick is punked. Everything's going to go. He's going to be punked in a little bit. Trust me. They make the mistake of kicking it to Josh Cribbs. Is there a better returner not named Hester than this guy in the league?
No, you know what? This is the best special teams player because he covers kicks as well. But look at the determination right there.
Moves the pile. So now they've got to get into range. They have one timeout to attempt a game-tying field goal. Derek Anderson shakes away, and it's Braylon Edwards. It's right there at the 33, and look at him run up to call timeout. 51-yard attempt by Phil Dawson. Remember, last week he came up short in that game against the Steelers. This one is up. It is curving. Oh, stoink and double stoink. What happens? It comes back into the field of play. Dawson says it can't happen again, can it? Romeo says, well, we gave it a shot. Wait a minute. Refs are huddling. Wait a minute. Referees are talking. Pete Morelli goes over to check the video booth. Why is he looking? Well, watch this. Off the left upright, and then it goes straight down and hits the extension behind the crossbar. That means it's a good field goal. There's no ability to replay, though, that field goal. So it's good. Brian Billick is not as nearly as fired up as Phil Dawson. He had no words.
I wouldn't begin to try to explain what happened at the end of the game there. I'll leave that to those that think they know better. So you can save your questions with regards to it because I have no clue what just happened in terms of the ruling and why it did the way they did. And I'm sure they'll explain it, and I'll get the appropriate memo later in the week.
The important thing to remember in all this, they got it right. The call was right. And then, Mark, the Ravens did not get it right by kicking to Cribbs again.
Yeah, so who hurt us last time? Joshua Cribbs. So you would think maybe we pooch it out there, don't let him hurt us again. Back to the 42-yard line. Kid is amazing.
He's been terrific. So 3rd and 10 near midfield. They need at least 10 yards. And Derek Anderson tall in the pocket. One more time to Kellen Winslow down to the 30. So I guess, as some would say, a fait accompli, considering how this game ended. Dawson from 33, you betcha. And the Browns come back to win it. The final score, 33-30. Wow. Still coming on this edition of NFL Primetime. Not quite the finish that we had in Baltimore, but a pretty good game between the Cowboys and the Redskins. And, you know, just last week, Brett Favre said he was surprised that his Packers team was 8-1. Well, what does he think now of a Green Bay team that continues to roll on, or in his words, ride the wave?
You are watching NFL Primetime.
Welcome back to Primetime. I'm Ed Werder in Denver with your Teams at 20 update. Mike Shanahan has a reputation for putting players with character risks on his football team. It's what he did with running back Travis Henry, who failed 2 drug tests with tonight's opponent, the Titans. The stipulation in these cases, Shanahan says, is he tells the players the rules by which they must abide and reminds them that a single violation and they're finished in Denver. If they make a mistake, they're gone, Shanahan told me. But this is a situation where I believe the player is innocent, and it's a belief based on the facts and the evidence. Shanahan told me that he's been, quote, conned by players before, but he doesn't think that's the case with Henry. His unrelenting support of the player has strengthened Shanahan's bond with his players in the locker room, even though it has brought attention from the NFL. And one player, Trey, told me, referring to the leader of the NFL Players Association, quote, Gene Upshaw is nowhere to be found. This is how Mike earns the support of his players.
Primetime rolls on. Redskins in Dallas, part of a 3-game stretch for the Cowboys against the NFC East. And this Terrell Owens fellow, But let's just say he's rolling right now. Cowboys in danger of being shut out in the first half for the first time all year? No. Romo stop fade to T.O. Perfect throw, Mark.
It's an excellent throw, and you know what? You've got to be so worried about him getting over the top. He stops there. It's just too easy. It's like stealing.
Third quarter, Cowboys down 10-7, 3rd and 19. Romo to T.O. and again, wide open. 14-10 Cowboys. Now watch this, Coach. High five to Wade Phillips. Ow!
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't
Wade.
hurt me. How was he so wide open?
Well, this is a great job by Tony Romo. If you saw him roll to the right, well, the deep safety, he gets pulled over there. The underneath guys are already beat, so that makes it very easy.
What's with the rule? As deep as the deepest guy. That's the rule.
That will come back to haunt them again. That was his second TD in the game. And this, one more time, Romo stepping into it. Deep as the deepest guy. Mark, wasn't that supposed to be the philosophy here for London Fletcher?
Well, it was, but again, you get the motion. You know, you've got to look at Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator, creating matchup issues, creating motion so he can be wide open.
You mean like this?
Yeah,
when Romo hits it in
exactly.
between the two defenders and then Pearson Freelo misses the tackle? Again, schematically.
He failed to do what underneath? Jamming.
They don't touch him.
Exactly.
If you get a penalty, you got to ride this guy down the field.
8 catches, 173 yards, 4 touchdowns. Cowboys win 28-23, 4 grabs for T.O.
I mean, I'm just playing. I'm just elevating my game, you know. And last year it wasn't that way, you know. I can only contribute. The success that I'm having is, you know, we got a head coach that came in and changed a lot of things. We got an offensive coordinator in Jason Garrett, you know, who's utilizing me in the best way. And you know, and the things that I do within this offense, it allows other guys to be productive as well.
Well, sadly for T.O. and happily for everybody else in the NFC East, he only has 2 more games against him this season because he has absolutely destroyed the division. He's gone over 100 yards receiving in his last 3 division games, and he has 9 touchdowns in just 4 contests against the NFC East teams so far in 07. Now, we must say in defeat, Jason Campbell played pretty darn well for the Redskins. Only 1 throw he probably really wanted back. And for most of the first half, the Redskins offense dominated the Cowboys defense. That's Chris Cooley for an early touchdown to make it 7-0. Then a little nice read route by Santana Moss. That made it down 28-23, and here's the 1 throw he wanted over, 150 left. They're trying to get it, and Terrence
It's such a difficult throw because watch this. Campbell will run to his right. Wide receiver starts running to the left. It's just a tough throw.
And that, in essence, sealed the game. Cowboys 9-1, 28-23 the final. All right, so Panthers at Lambeau. We saw the Cowboys go to 9-1. See if Green Bay at home can go to 9-1. And Brett Favre, a little bit of everything. Play fake, fooled everybody, including the network cameraman. Donald Driver was not fooled. 47-yard gain. What happened here, Mark?
Well, look at Chris Campbell right there peeking into the backfield. Look at Donald Driver.
Look at the throw.
Good ball.
Look at the throw. It's right on the
Talk
money.
about accuracy, but great play action fake by Brett Favre carries it out.
3 plays later, 3rd and 4, and Favre looking for James Jones. Again, pretty good throw there, Coach.
I tell you, he's throwing the ball more accurately right now than he ever did it early in his career.
Like this one to Greg
Absolutely.
Jennings from the slant, 14-3 Green Bay. All right, later in the second, still 14-3. Favre with Driver. Why not? Little
Give me the
heater.
underneath route. Give me the underneath.
And pushes forward for 4 more yards, 13-yard gain. Later in the drive, it's now on the Carolina 26. Let's say we need 26. Let me dial up 26.
Oh, boy.
That would be 26. The Donald Lee, 21-3 Green Bay. Favre and the Packers also utilized the ground game with Ryan Grant. This guy could be the key to them being really good.
Well, the one thing that they need to complement this passing game is a guy that's going to get in the alley, get in the seam, and break tackles and get you yards and create some physicalness to you.
He's kind of a slasher. I like what he's done. I mean, he finds that hole and he hits it.
I like that right there.
Had
Finish.
a little bit of a mild sprain, though, and then back to Favre. Why not? To Donald Lee. Why not? His 62nd career game with at least 3 touchdown passes. That's a ridiculous number. Packers also 9-1, 31-17. They'll next play the Lions on Thanksgiving Day in the first meaningful Lions game in November since, I don't know, Barry Sanders. Giants and Michael Strahan in town. And Michael Strahan, he had himself an afternoon, Mark.
Yes, he did. You know what? The guy can still flat rush the passer. Of course, when you drop back 43 times, you're going to get plenty of opportunities to do that, rush the passer.
What, you mean like this one here when he comes in again against a woeful offensive line for the Lions?
Yeah, you know what? Just continue to work your moves. The first one doesn't work, take it out to the second one. The second one doesn't move, go back and counter on the third one. Here we go again. Hey, Michael Strahan show. Look at that. Hey, right there, quarterback. Hello.
And after the game, Kitna said he thought the Lions were still a better team than Michael Strahan and the Giants. 3 sacks on the day for Strahan. All right, things got really interesting in the fourth quarter. Lions down 16-3. And John Kitna throws this one up to Calvin Johnson, who just steals it. Just steals that one away from the DB.
Well, that's when you're about 6'10". You can get out of vertical leapers on you. You can trust your wide receiver to come down.
So it's now 16-10. All right, 2 minutes left in the fourth. 2nd and 10. Kitna unloads one deep to Sean McDonald.
Wrong guy.
Wrong guy, and maybe the wrong time to take that shot with that much time left.
You know, he had 12 catches in the game, but he had couple drops, and that ball there, if you can't catch it, you got to knock it down.
And one more time, Sean McDonald cannot come up with this one. Look, it's a nice heads-up play, but it was right in McDonald's hands.
You got to bail your quarterback out. You've got to catch that in a game like this. I mean, you got a chance to go win this game 17-16.
But you didn't. You lost it 16-10. So the Kitna meter a couple weeks ago was 6-2. Things were going great, and now it's now it's stuck on 6, and now they got to play the Packers the first of 2 times. Lots more coming on this edition of NFL Primetime. Curtis Martin honored. And the Jets were honored that they could take out Pittsburgh in this game. Plus, the good news, the Colts won the game. Bad news, how they won it. There were no style points, but you know what? There's no artistic impression in the NFL. It's just wins and losses.
This is NFL Primetime.
We continue here on NFL Primetime, Steelers and Jets. And, you know, Steelers have played very well at home. They've laid some eggs on the road. This would be one of those games. I brought that up for a reason. Boy, I tell you, Ben Roethlisberger, Merrill, pressured all game long.
In the first half, actually, the Jets blitzed over 40% of the time. That is a huge number in the NFL.
There's David Harris with a sack, then Sean Ellis and C.J. Mosley, and then Roethlisberger holding.
Open either.
Holding.
You know what? Coverage is pretty good.
Yep. And it was like that last week, too, Coach.
And then one more time, Dwayne Robertson will eventually come up and say, "You are behind, Ben. You are behind.
You will go down."
And then Abram Elam forces another sack.
Another blitz.
7 times for a loss of 44 yards. And Kellen Clemens, well, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Jets down 16-13, and Clemens says, all right, let's go to work. He had been very average for most of this game. Chris Baker dragged somebody for a first down. Next play, Justin McCairns. McCairns dives across the yellow line, first down. Clemens, one more time.
Boy,
first down
in critical situations.
Terrific. And here's another little run by him that gets a first down.
What you got to like about this guy, he gets it. The ball comes out of his hand now. I mean, he's not going to stand back there and hold it. He's going to throw the football. And he takes some chances, but he's pretty accurate.
Clemens 5 of 8 and accounted for 73 yards on the drive. Threw up to a spike. Oh, he's got the game winner. Brad Smith right there. Oh, boy, that's why he's a quarterback learning to play receiver. So Mike Nugent in to tie it up with 25 seconds left. It's good. We go to overtime. In overtime, Steelers 3 and out. So once again, the Jets defense really stepping up here. And this wasn't a 100-yard return, but it was good enough by Leon Washington. 41 yards, or at his 41, returns at 33, all the way to the Steelers' 26. After 3 straight Thomas Jones runs, Nugent for the win. And the Jets end their 6-game losing streak, 19-16, the final. Kellen Clemens happy. Inside the numbers. Just another example of a poor performance by the Steelers on the road. They're 5-0 at Heinz, but they've dropped 3 of 5 away from home, and those losses have been to the Jets, the Cardinals, and the Broncos. Not exactly the Patriots, the Colts, and I guess the Patriots. Pittsburgh's defense has been totally dominant at home, holding opponents to under 11 points and 185 yards a game. All right, I mentioned the Colts, right? Ever since that loss to the Patriots, they seem out of sync. They got a lot of injuries. That's part of the problem, but Peyton Manning has struggled without Marvin Harrison in there. He drops it back in, well, I'm thinking the receiver and the quarterback not on the same page.
Yeah, this is what you call chemistry.
Oops.
You believe someone will be there as long as you have a lot of repetition, and he has not had that
Aaron Moore,
the other guys.
Harrison, that's for sure.
That is true. Then Manning looking for Dallas Clark, and Dallas Clark drops the ball. Again, he's rusty. He's missed a couple of games. He runs the route properly, but just can't pull it in. Normally, he'll make that catch 9 times out of 10.
He was concussed coming across the middle a couple of weeks ago. Believe me, I think he's hearing footsteps.
Under 2 minutes to go in the first half, 3rd and 5. Manning goes on the hard count, and which is great, except it draws off Ben Utecht, who plays on his team.
He's used to soft counts.
Goes from 3rd and 5 to 3rd and 10. They'd settled for a field goal, and field goals in this game, not exactly great either. Vinatieri missed a couple. With all the Colts injuries, the play of Peyton Manning struggled mightily over the last 2 weeks. He had a solid start to the season, but he's seen a dip now, throwing 7 picks and just 2 touchdowns against the Chargers and the Chiefs. Okay, so despite basically just hanging around most of the game, They had a great time-consuming drive to close it out, tied at 10. See, just under 7 minutes to play. You know what? The one guy that's been there through all the injuries, Joseph Adai. Boy, this kid's impressive. The longer this season goes on, he looks like the best pick out of that 06 draft. And then Reggie Wayne is still there. Had one big catch early, this one there. So Brody Croyle thinking, all right, we'll get this together when we get the ball back. The problem is you get the ball back. 3rd and 1, Adai is stopped short. The Vinatieri missed a couple. Tony Dungy says, no, we're going for it on 4th down. You guys like this call, right?
Tony's thinking, let's win.
I love it.
I'm doing this to win the game.
So that's your football team.
I want to win.
So that means they could bleed all the timeouts out of the Chiefs and run down the clock. And then with 6 seconds left, Vinatieri missed a couple. He made the one that mattered. They win it 13-10. All right, so the good news is Colts won a game, ended 2-game losing streak. But boy, this is not even close to the same team we saw rip off the first 7 wins. Is it just the injuries? Is it the added pressure of being the Super Bowl champs and the schedule they played? What's going on?
Well, I look at this team and they lack the chemistry. You know, Peyton Manning has played for 10 years, and there's one staple on the right side of that formation, number 88, that he has had there, and that is Harrison. And when you think of chemistry, if they run an out route, they see things with the exact same pair of eyes. At 15 yards, that ball's going to be right where he knows Harrison will be, and they lack that. We saw that in the highlights. He's throwing the ball where he's expecting the wide receiver, but because he doesn't have the reps or the timing or the rhythm with, a lot of miscues. And with Harrison there, you just don't have those, and that's what football's about. You repeat things, but you form a chemistry they don't have right now.
And you talk about injuries, and people talk about skilled position players. I'm going to tell you something right now. It takes a lot of skill, and it's not just because I played offensive line. It takes a lot of skill to play offensive line in this league. 3 different left tackles. They've had different right tackles. They shuffle that line around, and what you saw consistently yesterday was pressures and beat down, knock down passes against Peyton Manning. And I don't care how good a quarterback you are, when you've got 300-pound defensive linemen hitting you in the face, when you're trying to release that ball, it will definitely mess up your timing, and it will definitely mess up your chemistry.
Well, you both hit it on the button. I mean, you don't prepare for injuries like this. I mean, how you overcome it, sometimes you don't. Right now, they're having a hard time overcoming it because it screwed up everything. You're taking one of the great quarterbacks that I've seen in the National Football League, and he throws 6 interceptions the other day. That's very unlike him. Why? He's under pressure. Guys aren't open. He's not used to the receiver. The tackle can't protect him. You got a guard playing the other tackle. This team is doing a heck of a job. If they can get through Thursday.
Well, that's the thing.
They got 10 days. Yeah. Now, maybe they can get somebody. I don't think they're going to get Harrison back.
I'll tell you this, Coach. You make a great point on Dallas Clark. He does not seem to be the same player. And he was like their wild card guy, the matchup guy that really puts a burden on defense. You don't see that anymore.
He really got smoked. And, you understand, listen, I don't care who you are. You come in there, hey, wait a second.
That's called human nature.
Yeah, it's human nature,
That's exactly what it is. Listen, you mentioned it. They got the short week. They got to go to Atlanta Thursday night, play the Falcons. You just get the feeling if they can get through that game, get through
Leftwich could be the starter for Atlanta.
Well, according to Bobby Petrino, no matter what, he may be the starter. If they can get through that game, maybe they get Hugo back. Maybe they get a couple of linebackers back.
Help.
Maybe Marvin Harrison. We don't know. Maybe they'll be the team that we saw reel off 7 straight wins to start the season. But they got to keep their mind on what's going on in their division because the Jacksonville Jaguars, ladies and gentlemen, are playing some football. Jack Del Rio has got these guys fired up. Early on, they're up 3-0, 4th and 1, and they go for it. A 4th down conversion with David Garrard keeps the drive alive, and Maurice Jones-Drew is small, only in stature. He rolls over people getting into the end zone.
This is an attitude down here. Pad
Bowling
level,
ball with
rising
legs.
blow, same foot, same shoulder, always wins.
That puts the Jags up 10-0. Now, David Garrard looked pretty sharp in his return. Again, this is a guy who was handed the job early. Look at that throw to Dennis Northcutt. Jack Del Rio went out on a limb for him when the season started, and it's working. George Reister this time will make this one, and woo! Get over here, Marlon McCree. I'm taller than you, and I'm more athletic. Next play, Garrard threads the needle to Reggie Williams. That's a
throw
great
right there.
throw. And this, my favorite play of the entire season. Blocked by Maurice Jones-Drew. Mercedes Lewis is wide open. Mark, you got to love this.
You got jacked up.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Listen, slow man wins, leverage game. He may be short, but he's just tall enough for his feet to touch the ground. And you know what? He will deliver.
Chuck Noll once told me, first contact wins, and a rising blow doesn't matter how big the other guy is.
Well, just like here, Lorenzo Neal stuffed by Grady Jackson. They're forced to punt. Now in the 4th, still down 14. This time they go to LT. It looks like he might end up running out of bounds short of the first. And there it is. He does end up short. The Chargers are a mess. They have dropped to 5-5. That look says it all. Lots more coming on this edition of NFL Primetime. Second week in a row, Bears on the West Coast, but would they pull off the West Coast sweep in Seattle? We did have a Cedric Benson sighting, and Reggie Bush and Mario Williams, just like draft day, advantage Super Mario. Primetime rolls on.
Welcome back to Denver and your Teams at 20 updates. I'm Rachel Nichols. The Titans defense might be without two key starters. Both Nick Harper and tackle Albert Haynesworth have been missing practice all week, and there is not much optimism that they will be able to go. Now, the loss of Haynesworth would be particularly difficult against that tough Broncos running game. Coach Jeff Fisher told me that if he can't go, it's not so much a scheme change, it's that they'll really miss his pressure and general disruptiveness. He said that with Haynesworth in the game, you end up facing a lot more 3rd and 7s. Without him, a lot more 3rd and 2s. Now, I spoke to a couple Titans defenders, and they said if Haynesworth can't go, they have to take more personal responsibility tonight. They say they're going to try to edge their guys as much as possible, and Trey, they just want to funnel that Broncos running game to the inside.
Rachel, thanks very much. No running game for Tony, just a bus game as the Tony Kornheiser bus has rolled into Denver. Don't forget Monday Night Football coming up 8:30 Eastern right here on ESPN. Primetime rolls on, second straight week. The Bears on the West Coast. In Seattle, Rex Grossman under center. Sean Alexander once again did not play, but it's okay because Maurice Morris did. And you know what? He is running with power, Mark.
Yes, he certainly is. You know what? He got a nasty attitude. He's brought some nastiness to that Seattle Seahawks offense.
That running game? Well,
Yes.
it didn't exist for a couple weeks, but he's brought it back.
Gets a great block there from Leonard Weaver and picks it around the end. One more look at this block. Get down here. You must go down, and you must go down hard. Easy to run behind blocks like that. Now in the fourth quarter. Boy, where's Adam Archuleta? Yeah, see you later.
Right there.
Yeah, and Maurice Morris is right there. 87 rushing
later.
yards and a touchdown for Mo Morris. Matt Hasselbeck, I tell you what, he's pretty solid quarterback.
Most underrated quarterback in all of football. He's great at the line of scrimmage, gets you in and out of good plays, and will make some tight throws.
Like that one to DJ Hackett for a 19-yard touchdown. Now in the third quarter, 4th and inches, play action, and Marcus Pollard. Pollard continuing to go. Again, a good footwork and delivers the pass right on the money. They convert on 4th down, and then this is just artistic impression right there. And amazingly, Nate Burleson didn't sprain both knees on that one. Hasselbeck, 337 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Then there was Rex. Bears were down 7 in the 4th. Grossman leading the drive. Bernard Berry, great body control there. I mean, that's not easy.
That's great hand.
Yeah.
I mean, forget about hands. This is great hand.
Hand. Very next play, Grossman waiting. Patrick Kearney, I'm faster than you, and gosh darn it, give me the football. Seahawks pick up the fumble. Seattle wins it 30-23. All right, Cardinals and Cincy taking on the Bengals. Now, Carson Palmer, people coming off a win where they didn't get a touchdown, 7 field goals. Adrian Wilson didn't play, that great safety for the Cardinals, so clearly they would have some problems. No, they wouldn't. His Antrell Roll was, let's just say he was Carson Palmer's favorite receiver.
And he was rolling.
Yeah,
This is one of a few to come.
La few to come. You are right. That's French. 55 yards for the touchdown there. Game tied at 7. Pat Wilson, after the PAT, Wilson celebrates with roll. Third quarter. I think they're looking for
rolling again.
one more time. Now listen,
Love rolling.
This is the best part. Okay, gets into the end zone and something to make
Bang.
Olga Corbett happy.
Well,
round off back handspring.
And that's a guy that's missed some time with injury.
Yeah.
If I was the coach of that team, he would be on the sideline. Yeah, fine him. There you go.
By the way,
no need doing that stuff.
somewhere running down the sidelines, Bella Caroli was going, "You did it!" Later in the fourth quarter.
He's rolling again.
One more time. Now listen, this is going back the other way, and they took it back on a flag. Otherwise, he would have 4 interceptions, 3 of them returned for scores. Instead, he had the very pedantic day of 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes. This is the flag they took it back on as they go to block the quarterback after the interception, Mark.
Oh, well, the quarterback becomes live. I mean, he's right there. There you saw the run go right by him. I mean, he's going to try to make a tackle. That's all right. He plays football. He's got pads. He's on scholarship.
Still had a good day, 35-27. Cardinals could win the NFC West. Bucks, Falcons, Bobby Petrino going with Byron Leftwich, not with Joey Harrington, who had just won 2 straight games. Okay.
Good thinking.
Joey Galloway, 97, and he still can run like that.
Great. That's knowing your defensive back on the other side. You know he's going to bite on some things. You got a guy that can get you to the house, and the coach is very happy about it.
John Gruden can still get fired up at 7-0. As for Leftwich,
You've got to be kidding.
yeah, it didn't work. Hit there, and that's the interception by Barrett Ruud. This would continue. Leftwich running. Greg White. Oh, boy, there goes the ball. Rondé Barber. Tiki not scoring. Rondé, yes, his 10th career touchdown. He takes it into the house. This would continue, by the way. Leftwich, and here comes your boy, Gaines Adams.
Gaines Adams finally getting around the quarterback, and with that elongated delivery, knocks the ball out.
If only he could create a longer delivery, then maybe we'd have something.
Well, listen, things got so bad. Harrington came in cheering for Joey Harrington when he came into the game. Buccaneers win this one, 31-7.
Home team hasn't cheered for Joey since Oregon days.
Not since his days, with the Ducks. All right, first NFL matchup: Reggie Bush, Mario Williams, 1-2 in the draft, and Matt Shaw back and healthy for the Texans. Andre Johnson back.
Pretty good.
Jason David, not so much.
Yeah.
73-yard touchdown reception. What happened here?
Well, the safety drops down. That means the corner on the outside, you got one-on-one all the way.
Come back here, you silly rabbit.
But
all the way.
The corner's wrong, but the safety has no business going. It's a little. If it's a running play, you got plenty of time to get up there.
Speaking of running plays, Reggie Bush. Well, this is actually a receiving play. He's wide open, going right off. And then Reggie Bush. Mark, you want him just to get in there, right? Get in there.
Put your head in there right there and get yourself 4 yards and end it. You can't go to the house every time you touch the ball.
15 carries, 34 yards. Say what you want. Mario Williams had to love this game because he played tremendous, and Reggie not so much. He gets after him, pressures Drew Brees, and then he just went flat out, got after him. The guy's got a motor, Mark.
Yeah, he does have a motor. You know what? He's learning how to play the football game right here. You see that? Rip, under move right there, creating pressure, sack, fumble. Awesome. That's just awesome.
6 tackles,
That's a great move.
sack. Texans go on to win this one 23-10. All right, stay with us. When we continue on this edition of NFL Primetime, Lions struggling. Now they get the first of their 2 meetings with Green Bay. What does Thanksgiving Day mean to these teams?
Welcome back to NFL Primetime.
So in this season of possible perfection by the Patriots, there's also the possibility of perfect imperfection. Dolphins have yet to win a game playing the Eagles. Donovan McNabb hit from behind by here, tweaks his ankle, left the game with a sprain, would not return, questionable for his game Sunday against the Patriots. Brian Westbrook, no question about what he can do. He's tremendous.
He is very good. I mean, very, very good. Look at his vision.
Well, that's laser vision, really.
Great block.
And a little
Great
jump.
block.
Gain of 12 led to an Eagles field goal. Eagles really depending on their running game coach without Westbrook in there. I mean, without McNabb in there, and he does it again.
Well, you know, and it's not a bad thing to depend on. You're talking about one of the most productive guys in football. Look at what he does in the passing game and the rushing game.
16-yard gain there.
Blocks,
Thomas to pay, boom.
Bang.
And that gives him a 23-yard run right there. Westbrook, 32 carries, career high 148 yards. So A.J. Feely, now the backup coming in for McNabb, and he's always played well in Philly, nowhere else but in Philly.
Well, he does a good job, you know, and this is still not a real bad Miami defense. And so he did a good job of just finding the receiver, staying with him, and getting the ball out. Get the ball. A little long there, but get it out.
To Jason Avant for the touchdown. The Eagles go on to win it 17-7. Feely 13-19. He was excited. All right, Rams going for 2 straight in San Francisco. Trent Dilfer wearing the 89 throwback jerseys. And you know, great moments in Niner history. They've had so many drives in those uniforms. Super Bowl 23, Joe Montana with 39 seconds to play. It's John Taylor in the slant, and the 49ers kept a 92-yard drive to win the Super Bowl. Woohoo! Then there was 1999 wild-card game. Steve Young down 27-23. Late, almost stumbles. A heroic throw to Terrell Owens for a 25-yard touchdown. The 49ers do it again, 30-27. And back to Sunday in those same uniforms. Almost the same position on the field. They're down 13-9. Dilfer going to step up and throw it to O.J. Atogwe. And that's the end of it. The Rams win their 2nd straight, 13-9, 8 straight losses for the San Francisco 49ers. It was late. He had to force it. All right, let's go back to the Packers and the Lions, Coach. Well, it just seemed like the thing to do. Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, first meaningful game in Thanksgiving for the Lions in a long time. They've got the Packers in. They've lost 2 in a row. Is it desperation time?
It is for them, because they're playing, I think, one of the I think top 4 teams in the National Football League, period. I don't know if they're the best in the NFC, but I'll just say they're an awfully good football team. Here's the thing, though. The tradition of the Lions playing on that is Thanksgiving football. All this other stuff has been added, but that was the Lions on Thanksgiving. I had the opportunity to play, but mostly it was the Lions and Packers in the Lombardi years, Starr, Horning, Karras, Lucci, those guys. So that was the game that really mattered. And that was a game they always played pretty well. They beat the Packers in some very big games on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, even in recent memory, they've played fairly well on Thanksgiving Day. How hard is it to prepare? Like you said, you played in these games. It's a shortened week, especially for the road team.
Here's what I think is better, and I really mean this. I think sometimes when you have a lot of time, you think too much and you try to change too much. This you can't change. You know, you have a little idea what to do, so you condense the game plan. You keep it short, you keep it simple. Don't get too what I call pregnant with ideas, and then you can play better. And that's what we did. I mean, it's very simple. You got to put it in the players' hands. You know, this is not all about X's and O's and coaching. They know what they're doing. You've been working on this stuff since training camp. Let them go out and execute.
By the way, we should point out as we say goodbye to Mike Ditka, Randy Moss, 4 touchdowns. Terrell Owens, 4 touchdowns. First time 2 guys on the same day. This guy once caught 4 touchdowns in a game in 1963.
That's what happens. 40 years later, nobody cares.
I care. Just want you to know I care. If I don't see you before, have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank God.
Coach Mike Ditka. 4 touchdown coach Mike Ditka. When we return,